What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another YouTube video. Welcome back to Punchco TV. Hope you guys are having a great day. Hope you guys are having a great week. It is finally fight week, baby. The 1 month drought is finally over. We have UFC 324 tomorrow, and I cannot wait. So today, I'll be telling you guys my predictions for the fights that I'm watching tomorrow. And on Sunday, I will let you know the aftermath and the results and see what's going to happen next for each fighter. I'm trying to build this whole thing off of, I don't like doing scripts. I'm going off the top of my head and being real. But I'll be honest, I'm not the best with memories. So I have right here my tablet with all the fights, and I'll be letting you guys know. So if you guys haven't already, please hit that like and subscribe button. It's going to be an amazing time here. I know I'm not that consistent with videos, but soon, hopefully, I'll be making some more. Actually, tomorrow, before the fights, I'll be making a video predicting what's going to happen in 2026 UFC-wise. And soon we'll be going into boxing and even the WWE talking so, because tomorrow I'm going to go watch the WWE as well. But let's get it started with the first fight on the early prelims that I'm watching, and the only fight, Michael Johnson versus Alexander Hernandez. Michael Johnson, man, I don't know what to tell you guys about this dude. This man could beat Islam Makhachev but lose to Paddy Pimblett. You know, this guy could probably beat John Jones and then lose to Raul Rosas Jr. Like, this guy is so unpredictable when it comes to these things. And Alexander Hernandez, I haven't seen much from him, but he seems like a pretty stand-up guy. I think this may be a pretty good fight for Michael Johnson. Still staying on that, like, under mid-card scene. But he's always an entertaining fighter to see. I think Michael Johnson wins by unanimous decision. And honestly, after this fight, I don't even know what's going to happen. That's going to be an interesting thing to see. I think Johnson is probably, maybe it's time, but you never know, man. After a good win, he might stay around. So let's see. And then we're going to go into the regular preliminary card. There is a couple fights here that I do want to see, so I will talk about a couple of them. In Alex Perez versus Charles Johnson. Alex Perez, a very stand-up flyweight, so same with Charles Johnson. Charles Johnson lately has been on this whole I beat the champion, because he is I'm pretty sure the only person who has beaten Joshua Van in the UFC and actually knocked him out. And as you know me, I love Pantoja, and I don't think that that Joshua Van is a proper champion yet because of that fluke win. It doesn't mean I don't like the guy, but I like this kind of whole heel turn type of thing Charles Johnson is on. Alex Perez is a veteran in the flyweight division. He's been fighting for God knows how long. It's going to be a great fight. I think Charles Johnson wins by knockout, and if Charles Johnson wins by knockout, we will not hear the end of it, and I promise you that. And I think he's gonna try to make advocate to become the #1 contender for the title, and the man's not gonna get it. Nikita Krylov versus Modesta Bukauskas. I would like to apologize if I pronounce any of these names badly. It's Nikita Krylov, I know that. I think it's Modestas Bukauskas. I apologize. I have not seen this guy, but from like many highlights that I've come across, doesn't seem like a bad fighter. Nikita was a good prospect that unfortunately did not live up to the hype. I think a lot of out of the ring rust probably messed up with him. But he's still a very stand-up light heavyweight, and I think Nikita gets it done in 2 rounds by TKO. But, like heavyweight division, I really like it because I feel like, unlike the heavyweight division where it is very, very, very unpredictable because they're very heavy hitters, I feel like the light heavyweight division is even more unpredictable. Because, yeah, they're heavy hitters, but they're not like super heavy hitters. So you never know if a knockout could happen. Maybe a submission could happen. They're still very technical, more than heavyweights, I believe. But on to the next fight that I'm watching, which is going to be Umar Nurmagomedov versus Deiveson Figueiredo. Now, this was a fight that should have happened so long ago. I believe after Figueiredo's win over Marlon Vera and Umar's win over Corey Sandhagen, there was a lot of talk on if that Umar should get the next title, and I never believed that he should have. Even though, yeah, he could beat a great contender in Corey Sandhagen, who was number 2 at the time. But Umar, before that, had not fought any top contenders and has not went a full 5 rounds or any of that. So I was always the one that advocated that I believe Davison and him should have fought for that number 1 contender spot, because Davison was on a tear in bantamweight, but now obviously 2 losses back to back, one to Sandhagen, one to Piotr Jan. And he has got a good win afterwards, but like it's not that high level of a win. So as much as I may not be the biggest fan of Umar, because Umar, his whole thing going into his title fight was that, hey, I'm a Nurmagomedov, I'm gonna win because I'm his cousins. I don't think so. And he got beat badly. I don't want to hear no broken hand, broken wrist. Marag fought with a staph infection and was hurt as well. So what are we talking about, Davison is a great fighter, and so is Umar. I think Umar could, if the fight goes the distance, I think Umar wins by decision. But I think it's very possible Davison Figueiredo might get a submission on Umar. Now, you may think, oh, it's crazy. Umar's from Dagestan, got all this wrestling, and he does. So does Davison. And Davison has, I think, more power than Umar has, which is kind of ironic because he's from flyweight moving up to bantamweight. But I believe so in this way. So I think if fight goes a distance, Umar wins. But if the fight is to end early, I think Davison gets it by TKO or by submission in the 3rd round. That is technically going the distance. I'm so sorry. 2nd round, okay? I'm learning, guys, okay? Stay with me. I do not really care for Natalia Silva versus Rose Namajunas. Rose is a good fighter. I think Rose is going to win. So I'm just going to do it like that. Arnold Allen versus Gene Silva. So I don't know if you guys have seen. Gene Silva has just recently announced that he's been diagnosed with autism. I don't know why he wasted his time diagnosing himself or getting diagnosed, but big up Silva. That man's a lunatic, coming off of I'm pretty sure he was coming. I'll actually just check right here real quick. Yeah, coming off the TKO KO loss against Diego Lopez. And Arnold Allen is coming off of a good win against Giga Chikadze, but I think Gene Silva is going to knock him out because it's unfortunate, man. I don't think Arnold Allen is that same featherweight contender that he was. I think that Max Holloway fight really took a toll on him, and then that Movsar Evloev fight, even though it wasn't like a very far off fight, it was if my memory is serving me right, it was a pretty close fight. But man, 2 losses back to back always affects a man, and with someone like Gene Silva who's on the rise, and yeah, coming off a knockout is also going to be a strain on Gene. Let's see how he comes back from his first loss. I think Gene Silva is going to win by knockout in the 2nd round. And I think it's going to be actually fight of the night. I think this fight's going to take over the night. If it's not this next fight that I'm going to talk about, which is Waldo Cortes Acosta versus Derek Lewis. I'm not having hype for this fight. For one reason. Because the last time a fight like similar to this happened was Lewis versus Francis Ngannou. 2 power punchers, 2 elite fighters going to war. You saw that fight happen. But Waldo Cortes Acosta has been on a tear. Has been going crazy. Had 5 fights last year, I think? 5 fights? Or 4? Going for 5? He's doing great. And came back from an eye poke. And it's been amazing. I love this heavyweight division. I personally really like it. And I think Costa is going to be a great contender. And I think Costa is going to beat Derek Lewis. Derek Lewis is a great power puncher and is probably the funniest UFC fighter right now with all of his after in cage interviews. But it's going to be a great fight. And I'm so excited to see how this turns out and how this comes together. I think Costa knocks out Derek Lewis. And I think this should be Derek Lewis's last fight if this is a knockout. I think this man's been getting knocked out way too much. This is not good for him. Next fight, unfortunately, Amanda Nunes and Kayla Harrison got canceled. But Sean O'Malley versus Song Yadong is up on this card. And O'Malley got his co-main event. Man always wins, you see? Well, except for his last 2 fights. But sorry, I love you, O'Malley. This is going to be a great fight. Song Yadong coming off of a controversial win against Henry Cejudo. due to an eye poke. They had to stop the fight early and do a decision off of that. You know, things like this can affect the fighter's mentality and his drive to win, but Song is still a very young fighter and a very good prospect. In Sean O'Malley, where he is very young, but with all these fights and after being champion, like compared to Song, he's kind of a veteran to him. But I think Sean O'Malley wins by unanimous decision. I think there's a lot of people, you know, that forget that, yeah, there is the young guy showing the older guy, hey, I'm next up, it's your time to leave. But people must forget that the older person has a lot of experience, and the older guy will always show that, hey, there's level to this, and you're not on my level, you know, I'm still here. And yeah, just like Corey Anderson said. There's levels to this! There's levels! Anyways, Sean O'Malley, unanimous decision. I think they really are trying to push him to have that second fight with Petr Yan at the White House, but I think Petr is going to fight Merab 100%. Now comes the main event. And I will not have any shame in saying unnecessary as hell, by the way. Unnecessary. Sorry for that. Yeah. I love Justin when he first came into the UFC. He is still the highlight, and I can never miss a Justin Gaethje fight. Paddy Pimblett, I was never really sold on him. And look, man, who am I? You know, I'm not a fighter. I'm trying to be, hopefully one day. Prayers up. But I'm not a big fan of Paddy. I don't see the hype personally. He's a good fighter, don't get me wrong. A good fighter, funny, has charisma. But both these fighters are way too entitled for this pick. Way too entitled. Way too entitled. A win over Fiziev, which it's not his fault. Hooker had to leave, but to be honest, it's Hooker. We love Hooker, but are you gonna get a title shot off of Hooker? I don't know. He was looking great though. Hooker was, after that Gamrot fight, could have probably advocated for a title shot, but saying, hey, I'm going to retire if you don't give me a shot at the title, and Paddy just also complaining. This just shows where they are at mentally, personally, to me. I see that Gaethje is already thinking of retirement. He wants to start a family, which big ups to him for not wanting to have a family while fighting. He wants to be there like his parents were for him, which I respect that heavily. And Paddy, man, just honestly, lately, especially with the words he's been saying to Dan Hooker, it's pretty disgusting. And granted, Hooker said some bad things back to him, but I can't really rock with that or respect that. If I had someone to win this fight, I'll be honest, I think Justin will win by unanimous decision. And I think this type of loss is something Paddy should look for and should need to bring him back to reality, that this man has not fought a proper top 5 fighter. I believe that the other 2 fighters who are actually fighting on one of my favorite cards that's going to happen this year in 326 with Charles Oliveira and Max Holloway, I believe those 2 could easily say, hey, I deserve a title shot. But obviously, you know, Max came back from a loss from Topuria, same as Charles Oliveira, both knockout losses. But you can see what I mean by they have more of a reason to get a title shot than Paddy. And obviously, Arman Tsarukyan has a good reason. But obviously, you know, the headbutt and the broken back, missed weight thing, whatever. I can understand why they wouldn't want to give it to him. But there's so many people that are above Paddy and above Justin. Like, Justin, maybe you could give it to him against a Charles Oliveira or an Arman Tsarukyan, but Paddy really doesn't deserve it, I don't believe. Maybe he proves me wrong tomorrow and knocks out Justin and I'm just dumb, you know? I am all for being proven wrong. But I think Justin Gaethje wins by unanimous decision and he becomes a 2-time interim lightweight champion. I think that'll be the first time someone is a 2-time interim champion. I could be wrong though. But anyways, that's about it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it's not. I feel like this was a pretty good video, very energetic and good. But I'll make sure every video gets better than the last. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please hit that like and subscribe button. Please let me know what you guys think is gonna happen for UFC 324. And you know, tomorrow I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna do some predictions of what I think is gonna happen for this year in UFC. write down in the comments what you think, guys, or what you guys think is gonna happen in UFC, especially with this Paramount deal, with the White House card coming soon. I can't wait for that card so much. So let me know down in the comments down below. Let me know what your opinions are on this matter and what you guys think, who you guys think is gonna win. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Punch code.